Teachers in Jackson got together for an event to help solve a teacher shortage. More coming up on this show.
Coming up in our show, we'll take a glimpse into our community's resilience, because even after a storm, Hub City still finds a way to see the sun.
From the Chuck Scarborough Television Studio on the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi, this is SMTV News. News you can use.
Good afternoon, USM, and welcome to another episode of SMTV. I'm Bethel Miles.
And I'm Kennedy Drake. Here are our top news stories for today. USM has received a $3.8 million grant from the Department of Labor, Employment, and Training Administration for the Teaching Apprenticeship Program. Southern Miss is the first university to have a registered teaching apprenticeship program in the state of Mississippi. Southern Miss is registered as a teacher apprenticeship program in the spring of 2024. The program allows students to earn money while they teach as part of their internship. The students are employed by the school district, and the grant is going to help support students by providing scholarships, appropriate technology, and other required resources. The grant also is going to provide support for the districts that host the students. Andra Krell, the director of the teacher's residency, explains the benefit of the grant.
And what that means is our students will have an opportunity to earn while they learn. So they can serve as teachers' assistants in local elementary schools while they're receiving related instruction through our online elementary.
The grant can help not only Southern Miss and the host schools, but also the state of Mississippi overall by helping overcome the teacher shortage. There are almost 2,800 teachers short in Mississippi in the last academic year, and using the grant to train more teachers can help fight against the problem.
Yeah, pretty sad news out there, but a company based in Jackson also works diligently to resolve the teacher shortage. Our very own Kennedy Drake attended the event hosted by the company to see how they're supporting educators and providing more resources.
Tonight, teachers are getting ready for the new school year at Teachella Educators Expo. The event is a chance for educators to connect, socialize, and get school supplies. Current and aspiring educators registered for a night of enjoyment at Zaza Sky Lounge in Jackson, Mississippi. The event was hosted by the Green Tree Educational Solutions Company. Participants experienced an evening of advice and received a multitude of school supplies. The CEO of Green Tree Educational Solutions wants teachers to have a supportive environment.
Everyone gets a chance to network and build a community amongst each other so that they can depend on each other throughout the year.
As the night continued, the dance floor opened up and free meals were eaten. Performances encouraged everyone to dance and get to know one another. Amid the growing pressures of the educational field, events like Teachella offer a much-needed break for educators.
Also gain tips and gain strategies from each other, but be able to express themselves and still be professional at the end of the day.
Members of the company reminded everyone of the teacher shortage in Mississippi. The co-founder of the company believes it's crucial to persuade more people to join the educational field.
AI coming in with new technology in the year 2024, we have to adjust and be ready for the day's change.
With resources in hand and a new sense of community, educators left Teachella not only prepared for the school year, but empowered to inspire students. With Tropical Storm Francine rolling in just yesterday, many places of business have decided to shut down all operations. One that hasn't is Hattiesburg Downtown Farmers Market.
People like Jess Delory don't let things hold them back.
I think it's important to show up, because if you're trying to build your business or you're trying to build up your farm, people aren't going to think that they can trust you if you don't show up to let me know what you want.
The thing she's talking about is the Hub City's farmers market, which to most may just look like vendors in the park. I find out it's more so a community of people who actually care about each other. Even after some bad weather, Rosalind Harrington, amongst others, came out for their community.
It's all about community for me. I know we had a rough storm last night. I was just hoping people would just see how beautiful it is today and just want to get away from maybe the chaos they may have had in their yards or whatever. It's come out and shop.
This kind of service and care is one that can only be felt in a community as tight-knit as Hattiesburg's. Yet, there's still some give and take.
Now, did I hear you say you're putting it on fruit? And I have tons of people that show up and say, I'm so glad you're here because I love your fill in the blank that they buy. Sometimes it's salsas, sometimes it's soap, sometimes it's bread, whatever it is. I'm so glad you're here. I missed you last week. That's what's going to encourage you to keep going, but you have to put yourself out there first.
It's not just about the things these farmers can give to you. It's about what you do for them.
It's about my bakery too, but it's about meeting people and just making friends and being part of the community and letting them know I'm here for them.
In downtown Hattiesburg, where the sun is still shining, Bethel Miles, SMTV. Let me just tell you, it is a pleasure to be around people that are as dedicated to something as I am to something like journalism. Now, next up, USM Center for Student Success is launching an extensive Success Coach program for the fall of 2024. The initiative is aimed at providing guidance and mentorship to undergraduate students. The center is now seeking dedicated faculty, staff, and graduate assistants to join its coaching team. Success coaches will work one-on-one with students, offering guidance on goal setting, time management, study skills, and social skills.
You know, I think sometimes we presume students know, but students don't always. And so we can go and make sure that they know whether that's academic services, whether that's social services, whether that's services on campus or frankly even within the community. That's really important because students have a lot of different varying needs that really impact their academic success and their progress. And so to be able to go and have folks on the front line to be able to say like, hey, we're here for you, we've got your back is really an important part of persistence in terms of the curriculum.
Coming up after the commercial break, we have our own SMTV weather report and flash news. Stay tuned, we'll see you soon.
Organizations and foreign adversaries trying to trip us up, manipulate our views, and redirect or even discourage our vote. Whether it's bogus claims designed to stop us from voting or convincing digital fakes trying to sway our opinions, we all need to double-check our facts. Watch out for phrases that frequently accompany political disinformation like "make this go viral" or conspiratorial statements like "the media won't cover this." It's your vote, not theirs. Use it wisely. Be informed, not misled.
Welcome back to SMTV. I'm Rachel Brox, your weather reporter. Starting off with Friday's numbers. The high is 87 and the low will be 65. There will be sunshine along with some cloudy intervals. The humidity should be a little bit more bearable than it was yesterday. And there is very little rain chance at only 18% for that day as well. Now on to the rest of the week. Saturday is going to have the highest temperature this week at 90 degrees and the low will be at 69. Saturday is expected to have partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Sunday's high will drop by 2 degrees to a high of 88 and the low will be at 70. Sunday is also planned to be a rainy day and there will not be any sun on Sunday. Monday will be very similar to Sunday with no sunshine and the low will be at 70 degrees, but the high will drop to 86 degrees. And to wrap up our 5-day forecast, Tuesday will continue with the rainy theme and have a high of 87 accompanied with a low of 69. Now, we've already talked about the majority of this week coming up, so let's talk about more of our rain chances. However, Saturday is going to start us off at only 7%, but Sunday will jump up to 33%, and the rest of the week will relatively stay in the same area. Now, Monday has a chance of 34%, and Tuesday only has a chance of 31%. Now, that is all for your SMTV weather report. Remember to bring a raincoat and your umbrella for this week. Thank you so much for joining me, Rachel Brox, for your SMTV weather. Now let's take it back to Bethel.
Yeah, thank you so much for that forecast, Rachel. Look, Ken, I'm looking outside the window yesterday and it's a storm outside.
I know. Luckily, we were out of school, so it all worked out.
I'm trying to tell you, and that'll work perfectly fine with me for anything. Look, we still have SM2 Sports, community calendar, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to you.
What are you going to wish for, Grandpa?
Don't just wish you had taken care of your hearing loss. Take action today. Visit actnow.onhearing.com to learn the signs and find an ASHA-certified audio.
It may sound funny, but hearing actually happens in our brains, not our ears. Our ears are like mail carriers that deliver sound, so our brains can figure out what's going on. So what is going on? Well, it's pretty simple. When our ears work better, our brains hear better. And that's a happier thing. Like Happy Dance Happier.
Hearing loss puts you at greater risk for dementia. So see a hearing professional and let's get those ears checked.
The new Walk EMS experience was so uplifting. All of us are coming together, not only for that walk day, but for every day.
I love the energy at Walk MS. It is community, it is family. I can ride that high for the rest of the year.
A cure is on the line for me.
A cure is on the line for all of us.
Hello and welcome back to SMTV. I'm Emily Blue, here with this week's community calendar to keep you updated on events happening around your community. This Saturday, honor the heroes by coming to the 3rd annual 5K and 1 mile walk in Town Square, Hattiesburg, starting at 8 a.m. Explore downtown Hattiesburg on the first Saturday, where many restaurants, cafes, and shops will be open with discounts and deals. There will also be music events happening at local venues in downtown Hattiesburg. The last event on our list for today's show is happening this Friday. Hosted by Southern Miss Activities Council, SMAC is putting together a murder mystery dinner called Death in the Dining Car. It will be September 13th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Trent Lott Center. That's all for the community calendar. Thank you for joining me. Now back to you, Kennedy.
If you're watching this with your friends, you'll probably make a joke. Because you know what you feel on the inside isn't what you want people to know.
If you have to pretend to be happy,
find someone you trust and tell them.
If you get mad at things and you don't know why, or have thoughts about hurting yourself, find someone you trust and tell them. You are never alone when you share. Seriously, people care about you.
It's okay to not understand what you're feeling.
And it's easy to think that you're all alone.
But you don't have to be.
You're never alone when you share.
Don't be ashamed to tell someone you trust what you're feeling.
You're not alone.
You are not alone. Find someone you trust and tell them.
Tell a parent.
Tell a teacher.
Tell a brother or sister.
Or just tell a friend.
You haven't done anything wrong.
Talk to someone.
Talk to someone.
It's how things get better.
It may sound funny, but hearing actually happens in our brains, not our ears. Our ears are like mail carriers that deliver sound, so our brains can figure out what's going on. So what is going on? Well, it's pretty simple. When our ears work better, our brains hear better. And that's a happier thing. Like Happy Dance Happier.
Hearing loss puts you at greater risk for dementia. So see a hearing professional and let's get those ears checked.
The new Walk EMS experience was so uplifting. All of us are coming together, not only for that walk day, but for every day.
I love the energy at Walk MS. It is community, it is family. I can ride that high for the rest of the year.
A cure is on the line for me.
A cure is on the line for all of us.
High THC products can cause cannabis-induced psychosis and come with increased risks of suicidal thoughts, planning, and attempts.
Just Say No, KNOW. Go to justsayno.org today for the facts.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dad. Happy birthday to you.
What are you going to wish for, Grandpa?
Don't just wish you had taken care of your hearing loss. Take action today. Visit Act Now on hearing.com to learn the signs.
Good afternoon, Golden Eagles. I'm your sports anchor, Gabe Calhoun. We have an action-packed segment for you today. Let's get right into it. Starting off with football, diving into the gridiron, our Golden Eagles had their home opener this past Saturday against Southeastern Louisiana. The Golden Eagles won this matchup 35-10 with Tate Rodemaker leading the passing with 2 touchdowns, and on defense, Dylan Lawrence showing out with a pick 6 and 7 tackles. The Golden Eagles will be back in M.M. Roberts Stadium this Saturday to take on USF. Now on to the pitch. Our Lady Eagles were in action this Sunday to take on the UAB Blazers. Unfortunately, we fell short this weekend, losing 1-0 to the Blazers. The ladies will be back in action on September 21st against James Madison at 3 p.m. Digging into volleyball, our Lady Golden Eagles traveled to Montana to participate in the Ellison Invitational. This invitational, our Lady Eagles got swept in all 3 matches to Utah Valley, Boise State, and Montana. Our volleyball team will be back in action this Friday in Macon, Georgia for the Mercer Invitational. Now on to Player of the Week. We had some ballers show out for SMTV, but none other than Dylan Lawrence. Dylan ended the home opener with 7 total tackles and an interception returned for a touchdown. That's all I have for you, Southern Miss. Thanks for joining me. I'm Gabe Calhoun. See you next time.
Now it's time for Southern Miss Today.
Right now in the studio, I've got the great pleasure of having Curator Emerita of the Grumman Collection, Ellen Ruffin. Thank you so much for coming in and being a guest. This has been Mississippi Book Festival week. Unfortunately, the weather kind of shut us down a little bit on yesterday, and it's a shame. We had Dr. Grace Hale talking about In the Pines, which is a really, really great book. And oh, really? I mean, I was telling my students, I teach an entertainment media law class, if someone hasn't already optioned that for a movie, I mean, because there's so many different ways you could look at it, you know. It's a really, really good book. And anyway, yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
I mean, because if well, I'm not going to give away the story, but there are several different angles that you could kind of look at it from. In fact, I may write my own treatment. Maybe I'll be the one.
I love that idea.
That'd be pretty good. Okay, to get things started a little bit, how about a little autobiography where Where you come from?
Well, I retired from the DeGrumman Children's Literature Collection last year. And so, but I've stayed involved in the Mississippi Book Festival, which is why we're here today. And but if we're going to go way back, I was born and partially raised in New Orleans, and then spent a time in Jackson, and then wound up in Hattiesburg, where I finished high school, and then lived in the Mississippi Delta for many years. And so, I mean, if it's in Mississippi, I've been there. I've covered it.
I'm sure you've been asked this a million times. How did you get involved in that, and kind of what led you to children's literature?
Well, children's literature happened because I've always been a reader. And I happened to take a course in children's lit and realized there's more to it than I thought. And of course, it was such an imprinting type mechanism for me as a kid. I was an only child. And even though I was growing up in New Orleans, I still read a lot. And all of those names of characters and situations have stayed with me through the years. It's amazing. But with getting involved in it professionally, that knowledge expanded tremendously, because there's so much to a children's book that the average person doesn't realize what it takes. A picture book, a novel, a middle grade novel, every bit of it, everything is thought out and cared for.
Look, speaking of books, one that I love the most, I used to read all the Diary of a Wimpy Kids. I had the red one, the purple one, the blue one. What's something that you like?
I love the movies, to be honest.
Really?
Those are better.
Why?
Well, I'm not too much of a book person.
I'm not gonna lie, it takes a little bit of time to read, but once you get into the feel of it, you can kind of put your own little spin on the words or how you think somebody should be saying something. But I also do like movies. Is there anything that you watching nowadays?
Probably The Game. It's a TV show about football.
Girl, that thing came out in 2007.
Okay, but I love watching it. I love old videos, TV shows, movies.
There's nothing wrong with that too. You're an old soul.
Yes,
I give you that.
Vintage.
Hey, look. Thank you all so much for sticking through with us here at SMTV. Make sure to visit our social media pages, like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube, SM2 Media or Southern Miss Student Media. And if you'd like to submit news tips, email us at sm2news@usm.edu.
Also, if you would like to advertise with SM2 Media, please reach out to Joshua Wilson at joshua.wilson@usm.edu.
Well, that's all for us here at SMTV. And always remember, SMT.
Southern Miss to the top.